Hey guys, alright, it's finally time to put these guys on the car. It's early November here in southern New England, and although today's a nice day, it's not going to stay that way.
Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
So we're going to put these snows on. If you haven't seen that video where I actually unboxed these and went over all the pros and cons between these and the factory tires that we're going to replace today, check that out. I'll put a link up there for you. If you're doing a tire rotation, it's the same basic process as changing out these snows. So stay tuned. Really cool and informative video coming up for you. All right, guys, we're basically getting set up with what we are going to need, and I'm starting to assemble everything and get it out. I use a little stool. It just makes it easier for me to sit around the wheel. I've got my low profile jack here, and I have one of the pucks on it. Picked these up on Amazon. These go right underneath the car. There's little holes to put them under. And that's another reason why you need the low profile jack, because between that and getting under this low car, you're gonna need a jack that doesn't have isn't very high. So I use this one from Harbor Freight. It seems pretty good. I've got my little pancake air compressor. I'm gonna use an impact gun to get some of the lug nuts off. You don't have to. You can use a breaker bar or a tire iron, or you could use a torque wrench, although you're not supposed to use those for breaking nuts. Speaking of torque wrench, I have this Tecton here. When we put the wheels back on, we're going to want to torque these to 129 pounds. So you're definitely going to need a torque wrench for that. It's very particular about having the right torque on these Tesla tires. So the other thing you're going to want to do before you get started is you're going to want to chalk the wheels. In this case, I have the front left chalked. Definitely want something. I have these MVPs that came with an old jack of mine and a tire kit. You can use really anything that kind of just is going to stabilize that wheel from rolling. Keep in mind that these front wheels are not locked, so they will roll. The backs are locked because the car is in park, but I'm going to be lifting up the back. Well, actually, I'm going to be lifting up this whole side of the car. So if that wheel in the rear is not actually gripping the ground when I lift this side up, I just want to make sure it's not going to roll anywhere. I am on a flat surface, so I mean, it's not going to go too far, but I don't want any problems. So this is actually my first time going through this on this car, so I'll learn as you learn along with me, and we'll both do it together. And I kind of make these videos for you guys, but I also make them for myself in case I want to go back and it's like, how did I do that again? So it's kind of like just a reference material for myself. So let's get started. I think the only thing I need is I have to go into the glove and grab the wheel lock socket, because these guys I put the locking lugs on, so I'm going to need that to get those off. So I'll come back when we got that and we're all set to go. All right, so this is the tire that's going to go on. This is pre-mounted on a rim from T-Sportline with the Michelin X-ICEs snow on it, and the factories are coming off, and they will be going up into my rack up here where I have the other 3 snows currently. This is the locking socket that I needed to grab out of the glove compartment, and we're going to be using that to get the locking lug off on each of these tires. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off the center cap. We're going to do that rear tire first, then we'll do the front one. But I'm going to lift the whole side of the car. I'm going to break the lugs on the I guess I don't need to break them on the rear because that tire is kind of locked. I will need to brake them on the front before I lift it completely off the ground. So maybe we'll get the car in the air and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so I used the front jack spot and I lifted the front up quite high, but you can see there that the back's also off the ground. So maybe if you're going to do the rotation, use that front jack location instead of the back one, because I don't know how high I would have had to go on the back to get the front off the ground as well. I didn't have to go super high in the front to get them both up, and the back is off the ground a little bit there. So I just wanted to see if I could do that, because if you're going to rotate your tires, you do need to have both wheels off the ground at the same time. So it is possible. It seems to be easier on the front, and you have to get the car off the ground on the front side of a looks like it's off about 4 inches up. So with that in mind, if you want to rotate your tires, you would just do front to back on one side and front to back on the other side, because you do have to keep the tire rotation the way it's mounted in mind. So you can't move this tire to that side, because then it would be a wrong rotation. You would actually have to unmount the tire from the rim and then remount it the right way. So that would require a tire shop. If you guys watched my ceramic coating video, you know that I did ceramic coat the wheels, but when they're on, I can only reach the front of them. So while they're off, I'm going to take the time to clean the back, the inside of the back, inside of the rim, and ceramic coat that as well. Just makes it easier to clean up and to keep it clean. It's like a kind of like a, I kind of equate it to a non-stick pan. Once you have that coating on, like everything just pretty much rinses right off. So that's a project before I put these away, and I just wanted to let you know that I was going to do that. Not going the right way. See, the rotation is that way. So this tire belongs on the other side of the car. So let me pull another one down that has the tire rotation going in the correct forward mode. Front tire's on, tightened by hand. You can't tighten it all the way because the tire wants to turn. So what we're to do is let it down just enough to grip the pavement, and then we'll finish tightening it, torquing it all down to 129. So just want to let it down. Actually, that's probably a little too much. That's almost touching, but not quite. Yeah, so that's like, I don't want any real weight on the car, but I just wanted enough so that you can't turn it. That's what you're looking for here. So I'm gonna do this goofy one first. I mean, if it's not down enough, I'll know pretty shortly, because when I try to torque it, it's gonna turn the tire. So I'll find out. See, turning the tire, but it's just enough that I was able to torque it to 129. That's really actually where you want it. It's like just barely touching enough to give you the friction that you need to torque up the tire. So we did the goofy locking lug, and then I'll just start powering around and get the rest of it. Okay, winter tire changeout slash tire rotation is complete. And really the only thing left to do is to tell the Tesla that you changed your tires, recalibrate those tire pressure monitoring sensors. That's gonna take a little bit of driving. I have to tell the Tesla that we have the 18-inch tires on now, so it can calculate efficiency and do all its speed calculations properly. Although the distance and the overall diameter between the end of the tire from one side to the end of the tire to the other side isn't that much different, because even though we got 18-inch rims, we have a wider, slightly wider profile tire, so not too much difference there. But yeah, let me show you guys how to tell the car that you've got different size tires on there. All right, inside the car now. Gonna want to go over to the car menu and service, and here we're looking for wheel configuration. It says 19-inch Sport is which I had on here. Changing the wheel configuration will impact your car's estimation of range, tire pressure warning levels, and car visualization. The car will reboot after pressing confirm. So it's probably going to show the Aero wheels on here, because that's by default what they came with on the 18-inch. Don't think I can. Yeah, I only have one option, is the 18-inch Aero cap kit. So I couldn't say 18-inch Sport. So unfortunately it's going to give me the goofy looking, I think they're goofy looking wheel covers when it shows the car. But that's okay. I'll know that it's, oh, it does show it with the without the cap on there. So I like that. That's cool. So I'm going to confirm that. And it said it's going to reboot. I didn't see it do that yet. Let me just make sure it took it. Yes, it did, and there it goes to reboot. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Or if it shows it here. Oh yeah, see, it does show with the, well, that's a good indication for me. I'm glad I didn't put the Aero caps on there. That's a good indication for me that I have snows on. So I like that. That looks kind of cool. And yeah, very cool. One thing I didn't mention to you guys is that I probably should have also pressed this button, reset tire pressure monitoring sensors. I didn't, but I just got a notification before I really even drove the car that they were successfully recalibrated. I was going to take a picture of it, but I pressed OK so quick I forgot to do that. But I would guess that's something that you probably want to do as well. On the other hand, the car seems to pick up the new sensors and automatically recalibrate them if you forget to do that. So I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, so here we are. The tires are dressed. I did check all the tire pressures, and they were all about 40-ish, a little under 40, 39, 40. The sidewall says 50 max, and that's what I'm gonna run them at. So I did adjust them all to 50 and dress them. The car looks really good. I love it. And the next thing I want to do is actually verify that the tire pressure monitoring sensors are working inside the car, which I will do when I drive it. And I want to put a little bit of miles on it to see if I'm getting any difference in range on these tires. They are smaller a little bit and they are lighter a little bit, but they are snow tires, so they're going to be more resistant, and I don't know if they're going to be noisier. I expect them to probably be a little noisier, especially at higher speeds, but let me drive it for a few days and I will get back to you on that at the end of this video. So here we are about 2 miles down the road. The tire pressures came up online. They were showing dashes for a little bit there, but they show now right around 50 is what I put them at with my tire gauge, and that's pretty much what they're showing, plus or minus 1 or 2. So pretty awesome. I did see a notification come up saying that that I had changed my tires and to make the change in the settings, which we already had done. I don't know why it's asking me to do it again, but I'm gonna park up here because you have to do it in park and just see if it shows anything different. I probably think it's kind of just an anomaly that it's registering the new tire pressure sensors, and it wants to know if the tires have changed. It thinks they have. I'll go back and check that out, and once we get parked, and we'll see what it shows there. Yeah, so I pulled over and parked, and I'm back in the screen where you change the wheel configuration, and I don't know, I think it's just going to hit confirm here, and there's really not much else to do, so hopefully it won't bother me again about that. As far as the tire noise goes, I'm pretty impressed, actually. There is a whir or like a hum, which would be expected with the tread that's on the snow tires. I mean, it's a lot more tready tire. So you do hear it, but it's really not bad at all. You can kind of hear a little whirring as you're driving and a little humming noise, but it's faint. I mean, you have to have everything off and listening for it. So I think in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty good. As far as handling goes, so far, the handling and the ride on these tires, these X-ICEs, is pretty nice. I don't really notice too much of a difference, although I haven't pushed it around a corner or anything. I'm sure it's not going to handle as good as the Continentals. But it's not bad at all. I mean, you know, if you hadn't told me somebody changed the tires on me, I probably wouldn't pick it up right away. I mean, that's how pretty close we are between the two. So as far as efficiency goes, we're gonna have to wait and see. I do have a longer trip out of state coming up, so I'm gonna put that on and do my normal commuting, and I'll wait a week, and I'll update at the end of this video how it looks as far as efficiency goes. I did set a trip odometer for the snows, so we will see what that shows. I mean, right now it looks pretty good. 202 is pretty good efficiency in this car. I think I'm averaging on the Continentals about 210 overall. So let's see where these guys fall after about a week, and I'll report back. Hey guys, fast forward, it's winter. Yeah, I know I tried to get this video done a little bit sooner, but here we are in late December, and I have put some miles on these Michelin X-ICEs, and we can go over how they compare to the summer tires, well, the all seasons that come with the car, and see how much better or worse efficiently they are in comparison. So let's have a look. All right, so a lifetime efficiency, I have about a little over 6,000 miles on the car, and we're showing at 207. That includes both tires, really, because that's always going. So if we flip over to the snows, which I started last month, I've got a little over 800 miles on them, and we've got 215 compared to 207. Can't really say that's an apples to apples comparison, because it's much colder now than it's been for most of the time that the Continentals were on. It's been in the 30s, I would say, or hovering around freezing, or like right now it's just below freezing. And you know, right now I got the seat heat on a little bit. Occasionally I'll have the climate control on. Not very often, mostly when passengers are in the car. And the big other thing you don't see, well, it's not in drive, so let me put it in drive. When you put it in drive, you can see here that the battery is a little bit cold soaked. So these dots here are showing I can't regen past the solid line. So sometimes, especially in the morning, like these dots will go halfway, and I'll actually have to use the brake instead of being able to regen a lot. So, you know, all these things combined take away from the efficiency of the tire. But all in all, I would say 215, 7 watt-hour per mile difference with the snows on in the cold weather is pretty good. And I can tell you for sure that when I've done my commute from home to work in comparable temperatures that I had the Continentals on, like I did a couple of commutes that were in the 60-degree range, and I know that I'm usually at about 184 when I get to work, watt-hours per mile. And with the snows on in the same temperature range, it was showing like 179. So a couple of times I was able to do an apples to apples comparison. Don't have it on film for you, but I can say that given the same temperatures and the same drive, these snows being a little bit smaller, even though they're a more resistive tire to the road because they're, you know, more tready and knobbier, are actually slightly more efficient. So I think, you know, if this was my Continentals on here, this 215 number might be up more than the 220s, I would think, just because they're a bigger tire and a little bit less efficient actually overall. So great tires, I really like them. The noise is very negligible. They are a little bit noisier than the Continentals, but not noticeably. You really have to listen for it. And I have driven it in the light snow, and they're fine. So I mean, I hope to avoid getting stuck in heavy snow with this car, but if I do, I don't think I'll have a problem getting around in the snow, as long as it's not deeper than the underneath of the car. But that is my end of my review and the end of this video. Got that. Hey guys, that about wraps it up for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, click that link up there. It really helps me out and keeps me motivated to make more great content for you guys. And if you want to see more from this channel, click that link over there, or click that link over there. If you made it this far, guys, I owe you a drink. We'll see you next time. Thanks again.